Most nearby CDN servers aren't actually nearby. They're just the fastest path across the internet. When you load a website, you probably imagine your request traveling to one server somewhere in a data center. That mental model is wrong. Modern websites rarely serve content from a single machine. Instead, they rely on huge global systems called content delivery networks, or CDNs. These systems copy content across hundreds of locations and decide in milliseconds which server should answer you. CDNs quietly power a massive portion of the modern internet. Streaming video, social media images, game updates, news sites, and online stores all rely on them. By the end of this video, you'll understand how CDNs actually route your request, why nearest server doesn't mean what you think it means, and how these systems keep the modern web fast and resilient. Every website starts with the same basic problem: distance. If a server sits in one data center, every user on Earth must reach that location. The farther the user sits from the server, the longer the request takes to travel through networks and routers. That delay becomes latency, and latency makes websites feel slow. Now scale that problem globally. A user in Amsterdam loads a site hosted in Virginia. Another user in Tokyo loads the same page. Every request travels across continents before the server even starts responding. That delay compounds quickly. Images load slowly, video buffers, APIs feel sluggish. The second problem is load. If every request hits one origin server, traffic spikes can overwhelm it. A popular news article, a product launch, or a viral post can send millions of requests at once. Without protection, the server collapses under the pressure. And there's a third issue: bandwidth. Serving large media files from a single origin consumes enormous network capacity. Video, images, scripts, and software downloads all compete for the same connection. Modern websites need a way to move content closer to users, reduce load on the origin, and survive massive traffic spikes. That's the problem CDNs solve. A CDN starts by placing servers all over the world. These servers sit in locations called points of presence, or POPs. A POP is usually a data center containing multiple edge servers. Edge servers store cached copies of content. Think HTML pages, images, JavaScript files, video segments, and sometimes API responses. Instead of asking the origin server every time, users often receive content directly from these edge machines. But the real magic happens before any content loads. It starts with DNS. When you type a domain name into your browser, DNS translates that name into an IP address. With a CDN, that DNS response doesn't point to a single origin server. It points to the CDN network. The CDN then decides which edge location should handle your request. To make that decision, CDNs use several routing strategies. Anycast routing allows many servers to share the same IP address. The internet automatically routes your request to the closest reachable instance of that address. GeoDNS can also direct traffic based on geographic location. And some systems choose routes based on real-time latency measurements instead of physical distance. This leads to the first surprising fact. Nearest rarely means geographic distance. It means the fastest network path. An edge server a few hundred kilometers away may respond faster than one physically closer but connected through slower networks. Once your request reaches an edge server, the CDN checks its cache. Two outcomes are possible: a cache hit or a cache miss. On a cache hit, the requested content already exists on that edge server and remains fresh. The CDN returns it immediately. The origin server never sees the request. That single behavior offloads enormous amounts of traffic from origin infrastructure. On a cache miss, the edge server does something different. It forwards the request to the origin server. The origin sends back the response, and the CDN stores a copy in its cache. Future users requesting the same object receive it directly from the edge. This process spreads popular content across the network automatically. Content that people request frequently stays cached close to users. Rarely requested objects eventually expire and disappear. CDNs control this process with cache policies and expiration rules. Some content stays cached for minutes, some for hours, some for days. Developers can also invalidate cached objects deliberately. Techniques include TTL expiration, manual purge commands, or versioned file names. Without these strategies, users might receive outdated content. Originally, CDNs focused on static files. Images, style sheets, JavaScript bundles, and downloadable assets fit perfectly into cache systems. But modern CDNs handle far more than static files. They accelerate dynamic content too. Edge systems can cache selected API responses, route requests intelligently, and reduce round-trip latency between users and backend systems. Some CDNs even terminate TLS connections at the edge. That means the encrypted HTTPS session ends at the CDN server instead of the origin. The CDN then forwards requests to the backend over optimized internal connections. This improves performance while also protecting origin servers from direct exposure. And CDNs often act as security layers. They filter malicious traffic, absorb large distributed denial of service attacks, and apply web application firewall rules. Your origin servers stay hidden behind the network. But the true scale of CDNs becomes obvious when you look at how major platforms use them. Take streaming video. Netflix built a specialized CDN called OpenConnect to deliver its massive catalog of media. Instead of sending every stream from centralized infrastructure, Netflix distributes video content across a network of servers closer to viewers. Those servers store popular video segments locally. When millions of people watch the same show, the network serves those segments directly from nearby caches rather than pulling them from a central data server. This dramatically reduces bandwidth pressure on core infrastructure. YouTube relies on similar edge delivery strategies. Google operates a massive global network designed to move video content efficiently toward users. Video playback relies on delivering thousands of small segments quickly and consistently. Edge delivery ensures those segments arrive with minimal buffering. Gaming platforms use CDNs in another way. Game installers, patches, and updates can reach tens or hundreds of gigabytes. When a new version releases, millions of players download it simultaneously. Without distributed delivery, origin servers would collapse under that load. CDNs distribute those files globally, so players retrieve them from nearby edge servers instead of single origin. You encounter CDNs constantly, even outside large platforms. Social media images often come from CDN domains. News sites use CDNs to survive sudden traffic surges during breaking events. E-commerce sites rely on them to keep pages responsive during sales. The network quietly handles the heavy lifting behind the scenes. All of this leads to the real reason CDNs matter: speed. Latency decreases dramatically when content sits closer to users. Instead of crossing continents to reach a single server, requests travel shorter paths through nearby edge infrastructure. That improvement feels immediate. Pages load faster, videos start sooner, applications respond more quickly. Reliability improves too. Because content exists in many locations, a failure in one region doesn't necessarily break the entire service. Traffic can reroute to other edge nodes. Security also improves. CDNs act as shields in front of origin servers. Large volumes of malicious traffic can hit the CDN network instead of the application infrastructure behind it. And there's a financial benefit. Serving popular content from edge caches reduces bandwidth usage at the origin. Infrastructure costs drop because fewer requests reach core servers. Here's a surprising takeaway for beginners. A CDN doesn't just accelerate content, it changes how systems scale. Instead of designing infrastructure to handle every request globally, you let the network absorb the majority of traffic. Your origin becomes the source of truth, not the primary delivery mechanism. So remember the first idea. The nearest server on the internet probably isn't the one closest to you geographically. It's the one connected through the fastest network path. That small detail reveals something bigger about the modern web. When you load a page, you're not talking to one server, you're interacting with a massive distributed system designed to move data efficiently across the planet. CDNs quietly make that possible. And if you want to understand where this infrastructure goes next, you need to look at the next evolution of the edge. Because CDNs aren't just delivering content anymore, they're starting to run code.